Well, their ability to really bring him along slowly and not rush him back. I mean, there was a long period of time that he was practicing. He bought in and went down and actually played in the D League. And, you know, I just like that they really were patient with it. And it's still going to be an adjustment, but this team is dangerous.
It's the, we like thirst quenching. It's the G League. We like Gatorade. But yes, and look, when you think about the fact that Golden State now can, as they go throughout the season, find different rotations and almost get more creative, right, Smitty? The more, now that they have them on the floor, it's one thing for Steve Kerr and that coaching staff to think about how to implement it. Now they can start trying new things, like tonight, where we saw them working that rotation with that second unit and making sure they had Boogie or KD out with that second unit to help them.
Yeah, it is. And I think for Steve Kerr on the floor, he's doing a fantastic job of trying to find combination. But I think also he gets a chance to pick and choose some of those guys that play heavy minutes, like Draymond Green having rest tonight.
Well, Boogie, a big night. He's ready for his first at Oracle. Right now, after the win, he chats with our own Jared Greenberg. All right, Jared, Boogie, thank you. Ralph says Warriors 11 straight wins since the Houston L, 5-0 to end the trip. Boogie about to have the home debut Thursday. By the way, TNT against Joel Embiid and the Sixers. We get a chance to bring in our own man in the middle of everything. There he is. Hi, Griff.
Hey, guys.
By the way, please tell me you walked around and at least got up and exercised or did something during the break. Have you been sitting in that chair the entire time?
No, I'm me. I ate, guys. That's what I did.
Okay, that's fair enough. Hopefully you saved us some food. It was good eating for everybody with the Warriors tonight. How much of it came from the great work from Boogie, Griff? What'd you notice?
Well, and I think he had a season-high 22 tonight in 25 minutes, and you got to see a little bit of all of it from Boogie tonight. We showed the passing that they've done, but we've got a video here of just Boogie's action in the fourth. He went on quite a run where he had 12 points, and you can see a little bit of what he can give them. In this clip here, you're going to see Boogie drop down into the post, guarded by Sabonis, who gets topside, which opens up a wide-open lane. Eventually, you're going to see him hit Quinn Cook in the corner there. Here we cross-screen Clay and Boogie, which is a ridiculous cross-screen to be able to use. You have to pick your poison defensively. Clay gets a wide-open layup. This is going to be Boogie dropping down into the post. And again, Sabonis gets too high. You just can't do that against Boogie. He'll either finish himself at the rim or he'll hit somebody in the corner for a shot. Here he was able to go right at Boogie, or right at Sabonis for the and one for Boogie. So you can see he's going to get his offense a lot of different ways, but he's also going to create some for others as well.
Well, Griff, and we'll see Griff plenty. There he is. Please get up, walk around between games.
I appreciate it. I may be on the move.
He'll have plenty on. We'll watch Trae Young closely, among other things, in that second game. And, guys, as we kind of put finishing touches on game number one, and it's hard not to focus around Boogie. Candace, how does he make – it's hard to imagine it being easier for the Warriors offensively, right, over the last couple of years. But how does he make it even easier with some of the things that Griff just showed us?
Well, he's a complete player, and those that really doubted his ability to really fit in with this team didn't watch him play before with Sacramento, and when he was healthy even with the Pelicans. I mean, his ability to really pass the basketball last year alongside Anthony Davis was undervalued. Be able to play that transition, get up and down the floor, and that's fun. When you're a post player and you know that you run rim to rim and you're going to touch it and get a good look from your teammates and have the space to create, that's a good feeling to have.
Not as good a feeling, Smitty, who wants the ball but not getting it, because we got to go to break. We're going to studio. He'll be happier when I give him some of my pizza. On the other side, Kristen, D. Fish & Company will take you on Game 1, the night around the association, and more. We'll see you in L.A. soon.
He signs the shoes while they're still on. Is that the easiest way to do it, D-Fish?
It might have been the easiest way to do it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought perhaps taking them off, holding them with one hand, signing them with the other.
That's probably longer.
I think, though, now that Steph knows he's not going to be on Shaqtin' a Fool, he doesn't have to worry about if he trips over his own feet. It won't matter. But look at that. A young fan. Oh, she's brought to tears. Now I'm going to cry. She cries. Now I'm going to cry. Oh,
that's great.
Love it.
That's great.
Love it. Look how excited she is. What a cool thing. Welcome back into our NBA TV studios. Kristen Ledlow here, the 5-time NBA champion, Derek Fisher as well. as the Sparks head coach, Derek Fisher.
Hopefully more championships to come.
Yeah, exactly. Did you hear Candace talk a little bit about that during the game? Like, oh, wait, I hear, yeah, you heard her.
I heard the inter-game wagers.
They were talking about wagers during games, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, my head coach
I'll
is
just block that part
in
out.
the studio right now. We probably need to nip that in the bud. We watched yet another decisive Warriors victory. They've now won a season-best 11 in a row. They're going for a third championship in a row. So we could talk about what makes them great, but let's talk a little bit more about what DeMarcus Cousins is bringing to this lineup. As you were watching him, what is it that impresses you most about what he's bringing to this offense?
Well, I think the different levels that he's impacting the game. Big body, able to set screens, but then as he catches defenders at the wrong angles trying to cover him, that's when he starts to present problems. So if we can, let's set this up. We got our resident Klay Thompson out here, Shane, over here getting ready to come off this little pin down. The ball's at the top. And Boogie Cousins with his size. When he comes, he sets pin downs, sets screens, shooters coming off like Steph and Klay, force the defenders to get on the high side of Boogie to try and prevent them from curling, getting the easy layups. So as soon as Boogie feels Sabonis, TJ Lee, anybody that was on his high side, he's turning, sealing, catching these guys on his upper shoulder here, and he catches and he can turn and finish so easily. So that's the first way that he was really impacting the game tonight. Now we can go to the other side. We'll go with a post entry. Now Boogie's on the post, he catches it. Griff talked a lot about this little squeeze action that the guard set. So now he has it, forces the defense to now take a look at him. These guys start cutting off each other, and he's such a great and willing passer. And so when you talk about him being able to efficiently score in the block, being a willing passer, we saw him make a 3 early in the game. That's just really impossible to cover the Warriors, but it all starts with a willingness. You don't just put great players on the floor and they just go out and play great. The culture, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, what they've built from scratch, it makes it easier to plug Boogie in, but he's showing a willingness that everybody really was not sure he'd be showing right away.
It's so easy to fall in love with him statistically, his scoring ability, his ability to crash the boards, but he's also playing now at a faster pace than he ever has throughout his career, much faster than he was in Sacramento, in New Orleans. And not only is he doing that, he's having to come back from an injury and do that. Are you surprised by not just his willingness to fit into this offense, but how well he's fit in this early on?
I am surprised, in particular for a big player. Coming off of a lower extremity injury, sometimes it's difficult to emulate how much activity is required to move that big body up and down the floor, being engaged on the defensive end, also setting screens, moving around the floor on the offensive end. But it's been impressive. I think their ability to keep his minutes short allows him to play a faster pace than he's accustomed to playing. He can build his conditioning up over time. It was great when they have separation like they did tonight. It allows Steve Kerr to actually put him back in the fourth quarter, start to get those minutes up from 16 to 20, 22 a night, and build his conditioning base up. By the time they get to the postseason, he's going to be able to play some longer minutes.
And let him facilitate that offense some, too. That's what's so impressive is you watch him wave off his guards and facilitate the offense in transition.
Yes, all 5 players now with the Warriors being able to rebound, initiate the transition offense. All of a sudden, your center is pushing it up the floor. You have the greatest shooters in the game running ahead with the wings, and it's hard to stop.
Really discouraging for the other 29 teams. But just days ago, Steve Kerr became the fastest head coach to ever win 300 games. I mean, goodness. Let's hear what he had to say after this, well, now 11th win in a row.
Unbelievable trip. Just a really good way to finish it, too, with everybody playing, everybody contributing, leading from start to finish. And I was a little worried about this game. Just, everybody's anxious to get home. But we finished off the trip the right way, and it's great to see.
When was the last time you've ever seen this focus, on a day-to-day, game-to-game basis?
I don't know if we ever have, actually, including tonight. But no, I'm just kidding. We've been more dialed in the last month than we have for sure all season, and for much of last season even. You can just see, that the turnovers are down. We're just more conscientious as a group, and guys are moving the ball. 39 assists tonight, so we're in a good groove. We're in a good place, but got to keep it going.
What you guys haven't lost? Something about Steph's picking his spots that is just you've noticed this year that you like more that's led to his incredible efficiency numbers?
No, he's just honestly he's just being himself. I've been watching this for 5 years. You know, he's got this skill set that you can't really fathom. You know, the step back three at the end of the first half. I'm sure somebody's already done exactly how far it was. I don't know. Anybody know exactly? There it goes, 33-footer, like it's nothing, and it doesn't matter. Time, score. He's always one shot away from being on fire, and when you've got Steph and Kevin in that mode of being aggressive and attacking, obviously it puts a lot of pressure on the opponent.
What progress did you see tonight with DeMarcus together in the third quarter?
I just thought he got a lot of work done inside tonight. He scored more hoops around the bucket than he probably has combined over the first 4 games. So some of that was game plan. We wanted to run a couple sets to try to get him the ball in there, to get him used to that. And some of it was just, I think, him feeling more comfortable with his conditioning and his game.
Is that kind of your ideal fit?
When Game Night Monday returns, the biggest news in basketball, at least thus far this season. Anthony Davis wants out. We'll discuss it after the break. I mean, are you kidding? So the step back from 40 feet, because why not? Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors lead the way by 21 at halftime. Over the Pacers, our Jared Greenberg is on hand, and he just caught up with Steph.
Steph, ending a long road trip, Coach Kerr said tonight had the potential to be a letdown game. Then you came out and hit your first 8 shots, and then that dramatic buzzer beater. You seem to be on a mission tonight.
Yeah, we're playing aggressive, trying to make simple decisions, and then good shots happen. Obviously, they're better when they go in the basket, for sure.
You had another Shaq in a full moment. What happened on the sideline?
A loose shooting shirt got in the way, but don't take away from Clay's beautiful dunk.
To be fair, Shaq has made his bias toward Stephen Curry abundantly clear. He's not going to be on Shaqtin' a Fool. He's not going to be the Shaqtin' a Fool MVP, though he's had a couple of moments in the last week that I feel like could take the cake.
He has.
Got to mix in some misses once in a while.
Every now and
We're
then.
have that many mates.
That's what makes him so lovable. Hey, everybody. Welcome back into our NBA TV studios. It's game night. I'm Kristen Ledlow alongside our Derek Fisher, David Griffin. Now, we're going to be with you guys until the third quarter in Indiana between the Pacers and Warriors. Then we're going to be back in the studio. You may be in the film room leading up to the second of our doubleheader on NBA TV. The Hawks are in LA to take on the Clippers. When Steph is shooting like that, what can be done? Fish.
I don't think there's an answer for it. The spacing that is improved actually with Boogie Cousins on the floor, and I know Griff has shown some of that. The floor gets wider, more open, more driving lanes. Talked about how many easy baskets they've gotten tonight. Well, that's not by accident. The way Steph and Clay move without the basketball, you saw their Cousins creating additional possessions by banging the offensive boards. These are things that it makes it almost impossible to guard these guys. And then obviously without Oladipo, Tyreek Evans,
right.
The Pacers are struggling to put points on the board on the offensive end as well.
You talked a lot in that first half, and we've talked a lot behind the scenes about what DeMarcus Cousins brings to this Warriors lineup. Of course, it's obvious to look at the statistical impact he can have, both on the boards and, of course, his scoring ability. But do you see his playmaking ability as what's most valuable?
Oh, for sure. And you can see them here. Everything that they do to split off of Boogie, the attention he draws in terms of the defense collapsing on him, they run all of their guard split action, right? So it used to be that Draymond Green was the passing big. But Draymond Green's not going to be the guy you fear shooting that three. So what happens is the defense is so keenly aware of him, it starts to open up everybody else a little bit more as well. So in addition to the fact that Boogie himself can shoot, Boogie, when he draws attention, is such a good passer. And they're so amped up right now. They're playing with so much attention to detail that everything they do off the ball is getting rewarded right now.
You've been on championship teams. You've orchestrated championship teams. At this point in this season for the Warriors, as they're looking to three-peat, as they're looking to improve upon a season-high 10-game winning streak, what do you see as perhaps cause for concern? Is this the only team that could beat themselves?
Well, to me, great teams are always in a class by themselves in terms of, yes, they can only beat themselves.
Right.
It's not as much about the opponent. I think this team is an example of that for sure. Cause for concerns if we're nitpicking. I think will continue to be the turnover area will be one to watch. They have to keep that number down. And I think too, as you saw to start the game in the first quarter, Boogie Cousins is going to be asked to defend a lot of screening situations in terms of on pick and rolls as well as guards coming off of screens. That'll be an area that the Warriors will have to watch out to make sure they protect him and don't put him in too many bad situations.
And we talked about it pregame a little bit heading into it. Since Boogie started playing, all of the Warriors' defensive closeout numbers are radically better. They were all around a point per possession before, and now some of them are below half a point per possession, right? So they're all revved up. But Boogie's own individual number is still very poor. So what you're going to see over time is that they'll start to attack him, like you said, in pick and roll. And then when the novelty of all of this wears off and guys aren't quite as amped up anymore because they're not trying to prove it can work, what's it look like then on a night when they're not covering for what he doesn't do defensively? How's that look? It'll be interesting to see. Right now, we're clearly in a honeymoon period.
Well, I asked you to nitpick, and you did. When they win 10 in a row, and they've won the last 2 championships, and they're up 21 at half, and we've got to put together a halftime show.
By the way, I got the blue memo.
I know. You
This
guys,
is
we look
strong.
good. I know. I didn't want to mention it too soon, but we look good. All right. After the break, we're going to talk about the biggest news in basketball. It's Anthony Davis.